I dreamt of a woman I didn't know, then found her name saved in his phone under voicemail only. It started on a Tuesday. I woke up choking on her name. Marena. It wasn't someone I knew, but in the dream, she had stood at the edge of my bed, barefoot, dripping rainwater, whispering something I couldn't hear. When I blinked, she was gone, but the name stuck in my throat like a shard of glass. I told Drew about it while brushing my teeth. He laughed, kissed the back of my neck, and said, "Sounds like you've been watching too many true crime docs." Maybe I had. But 2 nights later, she came back. This time, she was sitting on our kitchen counter in the dream, wearing my robe, eating strawberries from our fridge. She looked at me and said, "You already know." I woke up with claw marks on my palm. I'd clenched my hand so hard in my sleep that my nails left crescent moons in my skin. That was the first time I checked Drew's phone. And found the burner. It was wedged between sweatshirts in his gym bag, black, no case, scratched, locked. But when I plugged it into the charger and held down the power button, it buzzed to life. The wallpaper was blank. The battery read 8%. There were 3 voicemails, all from the same number. And the contact name. Marena. I stared at the name for a full minute. My heart didn't beat, it rattled. This couldn't be real. No one has prophetic cheating dreams. That's a Lifetime movie, not my life. But I played the first voicemail anyway. It was static, and then her voice. "I know you're with her, but you still listen to this, don't you? You never stopped." I hit pause. "Drop the phone." Drew walked into the room just then, towel slung over his shoulder. I spun so fast I nearly knocked the lamp over. "Hey," he said, easy like my world wasn't spiraling. "You okay?" I forced a nod. "Yeah, just thought I heard my phone ring." He kissed my cheek and walked into the bathroom. I wanted to throw up. That night, I couldn't sleep. I replayed the voicemail over and over, headphones in, volume low, Drew snoring beside me like nothing was wrong. She sounded close. Too close. Like she'd recorded it from inside our house. The second voicemail was worse. "I wore her perfume yesterday. Did you notice? You always liked the way it clung to my throat." I paused it halfway through. Something about her tone, calm, not jealous, felt familiar, like she wasn't warning him. She was warning me. I started scrolling through the burner's contacts. There were only 3. Voicemail only. Never call. And one just labeled stop. All of them had the same number beneath, masked by 67. Drew had renamed the same woman 3 times. I couldn't help myself. I called the number. It rang once, then went straight to voicemail. "This is Marena. If you're hearing this, you're not supposed to." Click. I dropped the phone again. I was shaking so hard my teeth clicked. I should have woken Drew, should have screamed, should have asked who the hell is Marena. But I didn't. Because deep down, I knew he'd lie. And worse, I knew I'd believe him. The next day, Drew left early for work. Said he had to prep for a client pitch. But I watched his location. He never left the city. He parked at a motel just off I-91 and stayed there for 3 hours. I drove there. Didn't tell anyone. Didn't pack a bag, just my keys, his burner phone, and a rage that felt older than me. I parked across the street. Waited. When he came out, he looked normal, fresh, like he just had coffee, not destroyed the fabric of our life. But what chilled me was Drew. It was the woman who walked out after him. She was maybe late 20s, long black hair, pale skin, tall, familiar. And then it hit me. She looked exactly like the woman from my dreams. She walked past my car, paused for half a breath, and glanced directly at me through the window. She smiled. She knew. I pressed the phone to my chest. I hadn't played the 3rd voicemail yet. I hadn't dared. But now I had to know. So I hit play. "You should have trusted your dreams." I did. Then the line went silent. Except it didn't end. 30 seconds of nothing. Then a single soft sound. The door of my bedroom creaking open. The sound in the voicemail wasn't a creak. It was my bedroom door, recorded at 2:41 a.m. while I was asleep. I know because when I played it again, this time through headphones, volume cranked, I heard it clearly. The hinges, the faint thud of bare feet on wood. And then, like a ghost brushing by my bed, a woman's breath. Not just background noise. Not an old recording. A moment I had lived through. Or rather slept through. And if the voicemail was time-stamped accurately, it was 2 nights ago. The same night I woke up choking on her name. Marena. I don't remember driving home. I don't remember parking or getting through the door. All I know is I ended up sitting, cross-legged on my kitchen floor with the burner phone and my own phone next to me, replaying the same voicemail like some kind of cursed lullaby. I Googled the number, nothing. I ran it through every reverse lookup site I could find, still nothing. Until I put it in Facebook. And got a match. Not for Marena. For a memorial page. Marena Rios, 1992-2019. There were candles in the profile picture, a dove emoji, and under the bio, still with us, still watching. I felt my throat close. I clicked into the memorial wall. She died 6 years ago. My first thought was, this is a different Marena. But there were photos. And in one of them, taken in 2018, she was sitting at a cafe, laughing into her cappuccino, while a man's hand reached into frame. His ring was familiar. So were the veins on his wrist. It was Drew. I dropped the phone like it burned me. I confronted him that night. I didn't plan a speech. I just waited until he walked through the door and said, "Hey, babe," like he hadn't built a shrine of lies around us. "I found your burner phone," I said. His smile froze. "What?" I tossed it onto the table. And I listened to her, all 3 messages. He didn't touch the phone, didn't move. His whole face stilled like a puppet between strings. "Who is she?" I asked. He said nothing. So I asked again. Louder. "Who the fuck is Marena?" He blinked. And whispered, "You weren't supposed to hear her." The way he said it. Not like he was guilty. Like he was scared. "She's dead," I said. "I saw the obituary. You dated her, didn't you?" He didn't nod, didn't deny it. He just said, "I left the voicemails for myself. I recorded them." Bullshit. She used to send them, he trailed off. "Before she died," I snapped, "or before you pushed her there." His voice cracked. It wasn't like that. Then what was it? He finally looked up at me. And said she wouldn't let go. I didn't sleep that night. He passed out on the couch, like that confession didn't drain the air from the room. I stayed up, scrolling Marena's page. Her memorial post had over 500 comments. But one stood out. From a private profile, no photo. It said, "She never left the apartment, you just stopped seeing her." My stomach knotted. Because I lived in the apartment she used to live in. With him. I called my landlord the next morning. Told her I was thinking of moving. Asked if she remembered who lived there before us. "Oh," she said casually. "The girl, the one who passed away, I thought you knew." I gripped the counter. "Did she die in the apartment?" A pause. I'm not allowed to say legally, but yes. I thanked her. Hung up. And felt everything inside me ice over. I had slept in her room. Used her kitchen. Fought with Drew in her living room. She wasn't just haunting my dreams. She'd been here the whole time. That night, Drew wasn't home. He said he was staying with a friend, needed space. Good. I needed silence. I laid in bed with the burner phone on my chest and pressed play on the 3rd voicemail again. And again. And again. I tried to find anything I missed. Then I noticed something. In the background, faintly beneath her breath, a whisper. I ran it through a filter app, boosted the gain. Slowed it down. The whisper turned into words. "Check the vent behind the dresser." I stood. Dragged the dresser from the wall. Dust flew up. And behind it, a small metal vent. I unscrewed the cover. Inside, a plastic bag. And inside that, a thumb drive. And a phone. Not a burner. A real phone, old cracked, gold case. Wallpaper, Marena. Lock screen, don't believe his memory of me. I plugged the drive into my laptop. Inside were videos of Marena, talking to the camera, crying, laughing, and in the last one, filmed in the kitchen I now called mine, she said, "If you're watching this, it means he moved you in too." She looked straight at the lens, like she saw me. Tell me I'm not the only one who missed the signs. Marena's final video ended with a line I can't forget. "He moved me in just like you. He made me feel chosen until I realized I was just next." I must have watched it 5 times, not because I didn't understand. Because I didn't want to. She was in my kitchen, standing exactly where I stand every morning when I make coffee. Same white tile, same chipped corner on the cabinet door. She even wore the same robe. My robe. Or maybe her robe, maybe it was never mine at all. The footage had a timestamp. August 17, 2019. 1 month before she died. 3 years before I moved in. So why was her phone still here? I stayed up all night going through the drive. Some videos were quiet confessions, Marena sitting cross-legged on the floor, whispering into the front-facing camera like she didn't want someone to hear. Others were arguments. Drew's voice in the background, barking something about boundaries. One clip showed him standing over her with a clenched jaw, saying, "You twist things, that's what you do. You make things worse." But the worst one was silent. Just a shot of Marena looking into the camera, tears falling, no words. And behind her on the wall, a drawing. One I'd seen before. There's this weird framed sketch Drew insisted on keeping above the bed. A minimalist thing, charcoal on beige canvas, 2 figures entwined. I'd asked about it once. He said, "Found it at a flea market, reminds me of us." He lied. Because in Marena's video, she steps aside. The sketch is on the floor behind her. She was the one who drew it. The phone buzzed in my lap. Voicemail. From a blocked number. Shaking, I played it. No intro, no ID. Just Marena's voice, again. He's going to say I made it all up, that I was fragile, that I needed help, but ask him about the voicemail you haven't heard yet. I dropped the phone. What voicemail? Drew came back the next day. Let himself in like nothing had happened. Set his keys on the counter. Asked if I wanted Thai. I stood still, watching him. "You left something out," I said. He blinked. What? Marena's phone was still here. He froze. Then he smiled, the practice smile, and said, "You found it, huh? I meant to throw it out. I didn't want it to hurt you." "You mean you didn't want me to hear her?" "I knew she left you a message." My blood went cold. "You knew?" "I deleted it," he said, eyes soft. "It was too much. I didn't want her to haunt us." "She's already haunting me," I whispered. He sighed. "You're spiraling, just like she did." There it was. The script. Gaslight, deflect, reframe. The same pattern. I walked past him, into the bedroom. Pulled open his nightstand. Tore it apart. Nothing. But then wedged beneath the bottom drawer, a tiny microSD card. I held it up. "Tell me this is the voicemail." He didn't even try to lie. It took me 2 hours to find a way to play it. Tiny adapters, old laptops, file converters. But finally, it opened. Not a voicemail. A voice recording. 3 minutes and 11 seconds. I pressed play. Marena's voice. Crisp, measured, terrified. "If I die, I need someone to know it wasn't an accident." My hands went numb. He's careful. He always frames things like I'm overreacting. He makes me feel like I'm inventing things, but I'm not. Pause. There's another phone, not the burner, not this one, the first one, the one he hides behind the water heater in the laundry closet. I bolted from the chair. Ran to the laundry. Pulled open the closet. The water heater loomed above me. I crouched, crawled behind it, and found a small taped box. Inside, another phone. No case. Dead battery. But when I plugged it in, it powered on. And the wallpaper was a photo of me. Sleeping. From last week. There I was curled on my side, sleeping peacefully, captured by a phone I never knew existed, hidden behind a water heater. I stared at the screen for a long time, trying to breathe, trying to stay inside my body. I remember that night. It was last Thursday. Drew said he was out late with clients. I'd taken a bath, left the bathroom light on, and fallen asleep with a book on my chest. But in the photo, the book wasn't there. The lighting was different. The image had been taken closer than any camera on a shelf or dresser could have managed. I turned the phone over. Tiny scratches on the case. A faint scuff on the bottom right corner, like it had been dropped on tile. There were no apps on the screen, no SIM card, just the gallery icon. And when I opened it, there were 117 photos. Most were of me. Sleeping, eating, changing, crying, all from slightly different angles, like someone was testing vantage points. But the last few, they weren't of me. They were of Marena. She looked younger in some, smiling in others, but in the final sequence something changed. She was standing in front of a mirror. Her reflection looked like it was screaming. But the photo had no sound. Just her eyes. And written on the mirror in lipstick, "Do not let HIM tell your story." I shut the phone off and threw up in the sink. I didn't tell Drew what I found. I needed more. Evidence, proof, something that would make this real to people who didn't hear her in their dreams. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I called her mother. It took 3 hours to track her down through obituary records and a shared GoFundMe that was still up. Her name was Leela. She sounded tired even before I said who I was. "I knew someone would call eventually," she said softly. "What do you mean?" "I always thought someone else would go through it, that he'd do it again." My stomach flipped. "You knew him?" "He lived with Marena for almost 2 years. She stopped seeing her friends. Her hair started falling out. She told me she didn't feel real anymore." I swallowed hard. Did she ever mention dreams? Silence. Then, she told me she kept seeing another woman in her dreams. A future version of herself, maybe, someone trying to warn her. I choked on a sob. "She said the woman had my eyes," Leela whispered. "That's how I knew it wasn't a dream." After I hung up, I sat in the dark, clutching both phones like anchors, waiting for Drew to come home. But he didn't. Instead, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. "I know what you took." I stared at it. Then another came through. "The phone, the recordings. You think anyone will believe you over a dead girl and a dream?" My heart pounded. And then, the third message. An audio file. I tapped it. It was my voice. Not from a voicemail. Not from a video. But something I never remembered recording. I was crying. "I don't know if he's watching me right now. I don't know if I'll ever wake up from this, but if you find this, please don't forget who I was." The timestamp. Tomorrow, 3:17 a.m. I dropped the phone. Ran to my laptop. Pulled the SD card back up. Searched the metadata on Marena's videos. The last one. Timestamp July 10th, 3:17 a.m. The same time. Same file size. Same file name. Only difference. The speaker. Now it was me. Drew came home at 2:44 a.m. I was awake. Sitting in the kitchen with the burner phone, the drive, and the mirror Marena had once stood in front of. He walked in like nothing was wrong. "Couldn't sleep." I didn't answer. "Want me to make tea?" I shook my head. He leaned on the counter and softly said, "You're scaring yourself." I stared at him and whispered, "I think you've been doing that for me." He laughed. "That's not fair." "No," I said. "What's not fair is using women like test subjects." He tilted his head. "You sound like her." "Good." Then I picked up my phone and pressed play on Marena's final recording. She began to speak. But Drew's eyes didn't widen. He didn't flinch. Instead, he finished her sentence. Word for word. Like he'd rehearsed it. Like he had written it. He finished her sentence like it was a script, because it was. He'd written Marena's final recording himself. I didn't want to believe it. Didn't want to see the smirk growing slowly on Drew's face as my expression fell apart. "You thought she left you that message," he said, voice low, intimate like a bedtime story. "But that wasn't hers, it was mine." I stood up, the chair scraped back hard across the tile. "You faked her voice." "Only that one," he shrugged. "The others were real, most of them enough to keep the illusion." He reached into his pocket and pulled out his actual phone, not the burner, not the hidden ones, the one he carried every day. He tapped it a few times and turned the screen toward me. A waveform editor. Multiple clips. Labeled M voicemail 1, M voicemail 2, D monologue alt. I couldn't breathe. "You were making her speak to me," I whispered. "You already wanted to believe she was speaking from beyond," he said softly. "I just made it easier." I took a step back. "Why?" He tilted his head like the question genuinely confused him. "Because grief opens doors, and fear keeps them open." I looked down at the phone in my hand, the one I'd found behind the water heater. The one I thought was Marena's. But now I saw it barely in the metadata under Created by D. Ray's audio templates. He hadn't just faked one voicemail. He built a haunted archive. I backed toward the hallway. "Where are you going?" he asked almost playfully. "To tell someone." "Who?" "The police," he laughed. "You have a dead girl, 3 phones, and a dream. I have a recording of you saying you don't know what's real anymore." "You made that." "They won't care." He took a slow step forward. I could smell his cologne, the same one I found on the robe, the one that was never mine. "You were always the best test case," he said. "You saw the signs, but you needed the voice to believe them." I grabbed the nearest object, a glass from the counter, and threw it. It missed. He didn't flinch. "Go ahead," he said. "Smash everything, I already have the backups." I ran. Out the front door into the stairwell, barefoot, no keys, just the phone. The only safe place I knew was Jenna's cafe. It was 3:11 a.m. She opened the back door in her pajamas, eyes wide. "I need your laptop," I said. No questions, she handed it over. I plugged in the SD card and Marena's phone, if it was hers. I wasn't sure anymore. I opened the oldest file on the card. It was a screen recording. Of Drew. Not faking anything. But talking to someone. Smiling. The test subject's response to emotionally coded voicemails is increasing in predictive accuracy. The dreams are forming naturally now. Once she hears her own voice, we'll observe whether she identifies it as memory or hallucination. Jenna sat next to me, frozen. Is this a joke?" "I don't think so," I said. My voice felt detached, floaty. "I think this is phase 2. Then came the final folder. Labeled Phase 3, Initiated. Inside, a file named Replacement Protocol, PDF. It opened to a spreadsheet. Subject A, Marena Rios. Status, terminated. Subject B, redacted. Status, resisted. Subject C, me. Status, integrated. Subject D, no name. Status, in progress. Attached was a photo. A girl. Younger than me, maybe 22. Same build, same eyes, darker hair. She was walking into our apartment. Wearing my robe. I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. Drew wasn't done. He was already grooming the next version. And when I left, when I crumbled, when I finally fell apart like Marena, she'd be the one waking up from dreams with my name in her mouth. Then Jenna's phone lit up. Airdrop request. From Marena's iPhone. File Wake UP MP4. We stared. Accepted. The video opened. It was the girl from the photo. Standing in front of a mirror. Crying. Lipstick message behind her. He made me dream about you. She said he made her dream about me, and suddenly I wasn't haunted, I was haunting. The girl in the video, barefoot, trembling, mascara streaking down her cheeks, stood in front of my mirror. My robe hung off her shoulders like dead weight, and written behind her in the same lipstick, I once found in the bathroom drawer. Her name won't leave my mouth. The clip cut out just as she turned toward the door like she heard something. Jenna and I sat in silence, both of us breathing like we'd just run miles. He's looping it, I said, my voice barely there. It's not about me anymore, I'm just the middle layer. Jenna whispered, you're Marena's dream, and she's yours. He's making all of you dream of each other. No, not dreams, remember. I opened the burner phone again, the one with the photo of me sleeping. I scrolled back to the first image. Then zoomed in. There, in the mirror behind the bed, a faint reflection. Not Drew. Her. The girl in the video, holding the camera. She had taken the photo of me. Not him. My stomach twisted. This wasn't surveillance, it was inheritance. I needed answers. Real ones. I texted the number that had threatened me the night before. Me, who is she? No reply. I tried again. Me, what did you give her? This time, a voice memo arrived. I pressed play. Drew's voice, you gave her everything I needed. Your grief, your doubt, your dreams. All I had to do was give her your name. I stared at the waveform on screen, replayed the last 2 words. Your name. I ran to Jenna's counter. Grabbed her phone. Ask Siri, what's my name? Her voice responded, I'm not sure who you are, you can tell me. I threw the phone down. I couldn't remember setting up Siri. I couldn't remember anyone calling me by name that day. I checked my text threads, my emails, the metadata on the airdropped video. Nowhere did it say my name. Even Jenna hadn't said it all night. Like it had been scraped from the air. Like I'd been overwritten. I looked down at the video again. Paused it. Zoomed in on the girl's phone screen. The contact name above the video. My name. Sent 3:17 a.m. Same time I got Marena's message. Same timestamp. Same room. Same robe. Same mirror. The nightmare wasn't looping. It was syncing. My phone buzzed. A new voicemail. Blocked number. I tapped it open with trembling fingers. This time, the voice was Marena's. Or Drew. It was mine. If you're hearing this, it's already too late. My knees buckled, Jenna caught me. I pressed the phone to my ear as the message continued. He made me the ghost just like her. You're next, but you can break it. Pause. Then. You know the word, the only word he can't program. Jenna looked at me, what word? I shook my head, I don't know what it means. Then her voice cracked. You don't remember your name. No. Tears filled my eyes. Because she was right. I didn't. I went back to Marena's videos. Opened the last one again. Watched her mouth move slowly, repeating something under her breath. Not words. A rhythm. A sound. A name. Not hers. Not mine. Hers. The girl in the mirror. She was whispering it back. I searched the drive one last time. Found a single TXT file. Named Reset. It contained one sentence. Write her name and you'll disappear. Write yours and she will. I closed the file. Jenna grabbed my hand. What are you going to do? I opened a blank note. Typed the girl's name. Amelia. Paused. Backspaced. Typed. My name. Pressed save. The lights flickered. My phone went black. Jenna gasped. And in the reflection behind her, I saw her. Standing still. Smiling. Wearing my robe. Then everything cut to black. When the lights came back on, my reflection was still there, but I was. I blinked. Jenna was frozen mid-sentence. Her lips parted, but no sound came. Her eyes were locked on me, no, through me, like she wasn't sure I was still standing there. I looked down. The phone I just typed on. Gone. My hands. Trembling, yes, but somehow lighter, like something had been peeled away. I opened the front-facing camera. The image that stared back. Not the girl in the robe. Not Marina. Not Amelia. Just nothing. A flicker, a blur, like the lens was too afraid to focus. I backed away from the mirror, heart slamming against my ribs. Jenna reached for me, but hesitated. Say your name, she whispered. I tried. I opened my mouth, but it caught in my throat like a dream you lose upon waking. There was no name left to say. Because I had typed it. And saved it. And in doing so, I'd erased myself. That's when her phone buzzed. Another airdrop. From Marina's iPhone. File, final entry mauve. We accepted. The screen opened to a recording, this time from a body cam. Shaky, frantic, running through an apartment hallway, heavy breathing, a door slamming. Then, Drew. Sitting in front of a wall of monitors, each screen showing different women in different apartments. Me. Marina. Amelia. Others. Their names blinking like labels. Subject A, Subject B, test complete, replacement pending. His face was calm. He turned to the camera and said, You think you're real because you feel, but I built the feelings. Then, she was never the first, you were never the last. The video distorted. Static. Then a black screen. In white text. He didn't kill them, he reprogrammed them. Then, you are version 7. I dropped Jenna's phone. Staggered back. 7. Phase 7. Every voicemail. Every dream. Every mirror. A cycle, a system, a machine that turns women into ghosts and ghosts into warning signs for the next. I wasn't real to him. I was research. An experiment in emotional layering. A subject. A placeholder. A lesson to be whispered through dreams. I collapsed on Jenna's couch. She hovered, silent, helpless. And in the distance, like a thread pulling tight, I heard it. A voicemail tone. From my phone, back from the dead. I answered. Static. Then Marina's voice. Not scared. Not crying. Solid, grounded, alive. You saw it, all of it. That means you're not his anymore. Pause. Delete the name and start again. I opened the note file. The one where I'd typed Amelia's name, then my own. Backspaced everything. Typed one word. Marina. Saved. The lights dimmed. A loud ping echoed from the phone. New contact added. Name, Marina. Photo, me. Not her. Me. I looked in the mirror. For the first time in weeks, I saw myself again. Clear, solid, present. But now I was Marina. Not because I took her place, but because I chose not to vanish. I didn't become Amelia. Or a file. Or a cautionary tale. I saw the cycle. And stopped it. A week later, Drew was gone. Not arrested. Not exposed. Just disappeared. All of his phones wiped. His accounts inactive. No forwarding address. No trace. But new Instagram accounts started appearing. Private, subtle. One post at a time. Each from a woman who looked almost, but not quite like me. Different cities. Same wallpaper. Same voicemail. Same eyes. So I did the only thing I could. I started messaging them. You're not crazy, you're just in the middle, but you can get out. Some responded. Some didn't. But the voice always got through eventually. Sometimes Marina. Sometimes mine. Sometimes the one that comes after me. Because he wasn't studying women. He was studying how we disappear. And now, we're studying how to stay. Tell me I'm not the only one who missed the signs.